Hi everyone, thanks again for joining myself and Corey on another episode of It Starts With Plastic Free. Today we're going to be talking about the amount of water we import into Australia each year and how much carbon it generates just in the products we use. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe. And if you've got any questions or comments, don't forget to post them below. Corey, how are you?
I'm excellent today, mate.
Excellent. Well, I'm excellent as well, but every time we talk about these numbers, I start to not feel so excellent. Really revels me up in a way.
Today's a shocker.
So we had an independent consultant do some work with us earlier this year when we were manufacturing our wet wipes, and we've been on the path of talking about plastic free, as you know. And the guys from Turkey sort of came and did a bit of an analysis on what we were doing. And there was a stat that was always mind-blowing to me when we were told that although we're on the path of cutting plastic, the amount of water that's brought into Australia through wet wipes, which was a major oversight by us, is actually generating tens of thousands of kilograms, or tonnage actually, in carbon, just in the shipping. And when we break that down, I thought it'd be a good start to go through with our viewers on actually how wet wipes are made and what we're talking about. So wipes are made from a fabric, and different types of fabrics. So off our machine that we have out here at our plant, we have our plant-based viscose, or we can use bamboo fabrics, but you start with fabric and it's cut and it's folded on the machine to a certain way, or it's cut and perforated, like that product there. And this is not how we manufacture. We do have an automated line, but essentially what happens is the fabric's cut, it gets placed in the canister, and then...
So this here might weigh about 200 grams as a guide, which is in most cases pure plastic.
Yep, and then you then add, normally it's about 300% of liquid to the weight of the fabric. So we'd be adding in there like 600 grams of water to get to that. Now, if that's an imported wipe in a shipping container full of 600 grams, that then is brought to Australia, and we have got shipping containers that are just full of water. Because the fact is, in a soft pack of wet wipes, this big thing here that's come from the UK, that would have about 75% of its weight is the liquid solution, which is normally water. Because the liquid solution is about 97% water, and there's a few actives in there that's a smaller percentage. Now, I was just doing some numbers before on a pack of baby wipes. So the general 80 pack of wipes, this one's from the US. It's got the US flag on the back to verify that, but 80 packs, an 80 wipe pack. If that's 180 mil by 180 mil a wipe, okay, and I'll pull that out. And if the weight of that fabric is, we call it 45 grams per square metre. In a pack of 80, I calculate it's 116 grams. If we use the 300% rule, that would mean that there's 350 grams of liquid added to that. Now, the actual film itself is only about 3 to 4% total weight. So the weight of that ends up being around about 500 grams. And if you put 37 to 38,000 packs in a shipping container, that's a ship load of water that we're bringing to Australia every year. Now that's just a baby wipe. When we talk about all the imported grades that are out there, there's a lot of water there. Now carbon dioxide, CO2, if you speak to all the experts, that is the biggest thing that we need to cut back on, because even though we're on the path of our cutting plastic, CO2 emissions is really the direct part of where climate change is being impacted, and these are the easy winnings. But where else, Corey? I mean, where else?
I was just going to say as well, an interesting part about this is there's so much focus in Australian government incentives at the moment to reduce the packaging, but it just seems so often lately that we're actually forgetting about the contents. When the packaging is 3% of this packet. I understand in food, that's for sure, somewhere we want to eliminate a lot of plastic packaging. But in the case of this, the plastic is in the product, not the packaging.
And what we do know, you're right, and what we do know is that the plastic, the polyethylene needs to be used in a wet wipe because it contains the moisture. And there's a movement globally to find a compostable packaging in that regard, and it will come. But when I compare, this is a sample pack of what we make in our factory, of our wet wipes, Now, just hold that. I mean, what do you reckon that is? About 300-400 grams?
Yeah.
Probably more?
Yep.
Okay, so 300 grams of that is water, and I compare that to an imported one, and that water's been added in our plant, which is purified, added to our fabric and line, versus this was shipped all the way from another country, brought over here with the water in it and the contents, and we've just generated a load of carbon just in the shipping process.
Yeah.
I think of all the other products. When that stat came to mind, I started thinking about sparkling water.
Yeah.
I love my Italian or European sparkling water, but I just got to my wife and said, we've got to do something about that, and just put the fizzer at home.
Yeah.
Because it was unavoidable. I mean, when you think of the carbon dioxide we're generating just to bring water in over here, and all the other bottled water brands, why can't we buy Australian-made water? And what else is there?
Well, I was going to talk about chemical manufacturing is a fascinating industry. It's a really large industry in Australia. There's 5,500 businesses, according to Chemical Australia, employing about 60,000 people in Australia. There's a whole industry here manufacturing chemicals. Why? Because a very high percentage of chemicals are water, it's liquids.
Yep.
And I think we woke up long ago, we wouldn't import that into Australia, we'd manufacture it here. Why would we import water around the world? And yet this one here is 75% water, and it's just been overlooked.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at that number, like sparkling water, I think the other stat was things like detergents, imported detergents, shampoos, 90% plus of water, aqueous solutions. Why can't they be Australian sourced and Australian made? And it encourages our local economy. But besides the local economy and our sovereign capability, it's more about we're actually doing something good for the environment. Yeah. And until we start to be aware of this, we don't ask those questions. Hence, we start to really educate our clients with our Clean Life brand that we are sort of 53% less carbon intensive, with a product that we make here, our wipes, versus an imported brand. And there's so many other opportunities. And when we talk about supporting Australian made, it's a big one. But we're not just supporting Australian made, we're supporting the environment. Yeah. And all this talk about cutting carbon emissions, and this is the low-hanging fruit that's just there for the picking is real easy. Yeah. And
the detergent industry is another interesting one, or window cleaning, all those sorts of products, home cleaning products. We're seeing the trend of movement to tablets with companies like Zero and so forth. And it's brilliant. It's taking away the shipping of water. Why not, fill it up at home?
And how do should we have a tax on water that's imported? I mean,
we should.
If we're really trying to have all these incentives to encourage people to use electric cars and preventing carbon emissions from vehicles, etc. And people want to talk about, going to vegan diets to stay away from cows that are creating methane. But we're talking about now. This is. It would be crazy if we had a container full of swimming pools imported to Australia and they came full of water. Yeah. That's the nuts that we're talking about here.
Which is what we're doing with this.
So if there's other products that you've seen out there or you think of that we've missed, it's really good to highlight that and flag in the comments and share it around, because these are the discussions about consumer behaviour, being aware of it. And again, consumers are the most powerful people often in the way of creating change, because what we're aware of, we demand, and what we demand, we're sold. And if we understand that, everybody, including government, starts to push the way of where the consumers will stand with their feet and what they'll use with their credit cards and their pay packs. Have we overlooked anything else where there's water that we the tablet one was an interesting one. I like the idea of these new tablets and detergents.
Well, we're seeing the major retailers take the lead and set up, and potentially consumer driven, no doubt, but take the lead and set up the refill stations in the supermarkets and the likes, which is brilliant, stopping the importation of detergents and cleaning. Like the window cleaner one is classic, with the blue colour to make you think it's 100% critical chemical when it's 98% water.
Probably less than 1% of the active in there. So the next time you are in a supermarket and you're picking up a packet of wipes and you feel that, remember that it's the wipe is that weight of that is water. It's not fabric. When I actually get our fabric and hold that up, it's just so light, and there's probably about 300 wipes on that roll there. That's the difference in terms of that compared to what the weight of 75 to 80 pack of wipes might be. And it's water, and it's crazy that we're just bypassing that information. We've spoken previously about plastic in wipes. Now we need to understand the amount of water in wipes, and not just wipes, but other products as well. So when you're sitting at a restaurant next and they're offering you a bottle of that imported European sparkling water, maybe just have a think about that and see if you can ask them to bring in a local grade, or even if they've got the one on tap themselves, they can make it in the restaurant where it's actually made on site, which would be the greatest saving on carbon just from bottled water compared to all the imported water that's coming from the European Alps that we often see.
Hey, highlighting just one of the baby wipes, which anyone in the baby wipe space or having recently had a baby would certainly no doubt know about, but marketed as water wipes, as many brands are on the market, and imported from Ireland, and there's a perception that that's a pure wipe, which is great, but yeah, we're importing 99% water from Ireland. It's insane.
Surely there are more of us out here that have our water. Well, we have our water wipe out there. There's a bit of a plug on the Clean Off brand, but it's an example that there may be other brands that are local, that are Australian-made water wipes, and why would we do that? Because, I mean, that's a long way to come from one side of the world with just bringing a container full of water, especially those stats. And I think we had an image which we might put up on this episode where you'll see now where there's a container simulated full of water and how much carbon that's generating. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to It Starts With Plastic Free. Again, we'd look forward to your comments. Please share it along. And until next time, we'll see you in the next episode.